Jin Sewon, the leader of the Sojung unit, is confronted with a chilling observation about his suspiciously perfect memory. He acknowledges the remark with a cold, detached tone. The Murim Alliance's records were successfully restored, all thanks to his tireless efforts. He bows before the Murim Alliance leader, the Supreme Purity Divine Sword Yong Soa, expressing his gratitude. He points out that he obeyed every order, memorizing and restoring everything, and yet, this is his reward? He is met with a cruel twist of fate. He is to be discarded like a stray dog. The Alliance leader fears that if a man with the Simeon Pavilion archives in his head were to defect to the demonic cult, it would spell total disaster. She declares that for the greater good and the safety of the Murim, Jin Sewon and his memories must be erased from existence. Jin Sewon lets out a hollow, bitter laugh at the mention of the greater good. The hypocrisy is palpable. He questions what danger could possibly be left to fear. He reminds her that the Murim Alliance has already been crushed by the demonic cult and is currently fleeing for their lives. The Alliance leader stubbornly insists they will rebuild their strength and defeat the cult once and for all. Jin Sewon mocks their pathetic retreat to the North Sea, where they used innocent lives as human shields to survive. He stares her down, questioning who the real villains are, those who kill for the greater good, or the cultists themselves. She accuses him of being corrupted by the enemy, claiming she regrets ever trusting the fate of the Taeyul sect to his hands. Jin Sewon doesn't flinch. He declares that if he is to die, it will be strictly on his own terms. His life had become a living hell, burdened by the weight of every single memory he was forced to hold. He recalls the dark days when the war began. He and his brothers were just fodder for a losing side. The Alliance abandoned them, leaving the weak to die as human shields while the officials scrambled to the North Sea. They had approached him with a calculated offer. Memorize their secrets, and they would spare his juniors. It was a classic hostage situation. Memorize the archives or watch his family die in the mud. He is haunted by the what-ifs. Should he have fought? Should he have trained harder? He curses the heavens for giving him a useless photographic memory instead of the internal energy needed to actually survive. If only he could have swapped that memory for a decent punch. Faced with death, he is consumed by nothing but regret. He realizes too late that he should have been the one with the strength to protect them. His executioner taunts his slumped body, confused as to why he's passed out so easily. He sneers that even his weak juniors lasted longer than this. Jin Sewon's mind is a storm of agonizing memories. The pain is becoming unbearable. Every detail of his suffering is etched into his mind. It hurts like hell. He gasps, disoriented. Where is he? It's the Taeyul sect's training ground, and everything looks so familiar. With a thunderous stomp, he shatters the very ground beneath his feet. The sheer force of his landing sends cracks splintering across the floor. In a sudden flash of adrenaline, he scoops her up, leaving her completely stunned. The heat of the moment is undeniable as their paths collide. Junior sister Hong is mortified, blushing as she asks why he's acting so strange. Jianpyo is equally confused, wondering if the senior brother has finally lost his marbles. The juniors whisper among themselves, wondering if this is some kind of elaborate prank. Seeing them alive and well, Jin Sewon is overcome with emotion. His eyes well up with tears, leaving the juniors utterly baffled by his sudden breakdown. He realizes his memory is still hazy, but being back here is a miracle. The juniors stare in confusion. What is he even talking about? He can't help but gush over how cute his sister was, missing the nagging he once found so annoying. He reminisces about Jianpyo's bedwetting days, much to the kids' absolute horror. Talk about embarrassing. He's just happy to see their faces again, while the others wonder if he's faking insanity to avoid sparring. A bully threatens that if he doesn't pick up his sword, his precious juniors will take the beating for him. Jin Sewon is annoyed. Out of all the people to run into, it had to be this jerk. He remembers Guy Cheolyang, a rich brat who bought his way into the sect just to abuse the disciples. They had to take the beatings to protect the sect's funding, But Jin Se-won has had enough. He's ready to settle some old scores with the knowledge of his past life. Pure fury erupts as he grits his teeth in a display of raw, unbridled rage. The tension is reaching a breaking point. He screams at the arrogant bastard. He recognizes the Three Glories sword technique instantly, the very move that caused him so much pain before. The style is rough and unrefined, typical of the Ronin who taught it to the merchant's son. It's a dirty, eye-targeting technique that the young disciples were never equipped to handle. He remembers every form, but this time he actually has the skills to counter it. Compared to the monsters of the demonic cult, this brat is nothing. Total shock shatters his opponent's composure as the tables turn. The techniques he was forced to memorize are now his greatest weapons. Every secret stored in his brain is ready to be unleashed. The archive he hated is now his edge. An intense surge of power ignites in his eyes as he unleashes a devastating strike. The battlefield trembles under the weight of his overwhelming force. He executes the first form of the Lesser Heaven Sword technique with perfect precision. The opponent is stunned. How does a third-rate disciple know such a move? A wicked grin spreads across Jin Se-won's face. Using their own technique against them feels absolutely incredible. He's going to dismantle this bully piece by piece. It's the most refreshing feeling in the world. Steel clashes as the two warriors blur into a deadly dance of blades. The tension explodes in a high-stakes duel where one wrong move means certain death. A lethal strike is unleashed, catching our protagonist completely off guard. The tension explodes as the blade descends with terrifying intent. Jin Se-won takes a hit, but the bully is the one losing his mind that his trash opponent actually drew blood. A bone-shattering strike connects, sending the warrior into a primal roar of pure agony. The battle has reached its breaking point. Jin Se-won asks if he's ready to face the consequences of his arrogance. With a heavy thud, his opponent crashes to the ground in total defeat. Our hero stands frozen, completely bewildered by the sudden collapse. What just happened? The juniors are ecstatic, cheering as if they've witnessed a miracle. No more stolen taffy today. A cold, menacing smirk spreads across his face as he prepares to unleash his true power. Whatever he's planning, it's definitely bad news for his enemies. He realizes that beating up this brat was the closure he needed to finally feel free. He's savoring every second of this precious, hazy memory. His juniors are panicking, asking if he's lost his mind. They're terrified of the financial fallout from the merchant group. Being poor is tough, and they're worried they'll be down to one meal a day now. He stops for a second. Wait, is this reality? He wonders if this is actually happening. Absolute chaos erupts as a lightning-fast slap shuts down the nonsense. He realizes with a jolt, he really did return to the past. The juniors are frantic, wondering if he's finally woken up. Countless hidden secrets lie locked away behind these rows of mysterious drawers. Which one holds the key to his destiny? Battered and bruised, our hero lays low to recover from the brutal aftermath of his latest clash. The fight might be over, but he's already counting down to the next round. He wakes up in the infirmary, trying to piece together the timeline of his new life. It started with the return of the cult. The alliance fell, and the Taeyul sect was nearly wiped out along with them. Because of his memory, he was made a glorified librarian. He had to memorize every single document in the archives. He promised he could handle it. Every letter, every page, all locked away in his mind. But he had a price. He begged them to keep his juniors out of the meat grinder of war. But the Alliance saw his memory as a liability that needed to be erased. He thought it was the end, but he woke up back in his youth. An intense gaze pierces through the veil of reality, unlocking the lethal secrets of an ancient sword technique. The legendary art is revealed as the protagonist's eyes lock onto every devastating strike. With one swift strike, the challenger is left face down in the dirt. Our hero stands tall, completely unfazed by the sudden total wipeout. He's still baffled that he managed to beat Gai Qiuyang so easily this time around. His body is young, but his jade bracelet came back with him, a strange artifact from his past life. It glowed when he died, and now he suspects it's the reason he's back. A loud demand rings out. Someone wants to see the punk who dared touch the young master. Who could it be? The merchant leader arrives, demanding blood, while the sect leader tries to de-escalate the situation. The merchant leader threatens to cut off all funding to the sect if they don't punish Jin Se-won. Talk about a drama queen. The sect leader grovels, promising discipline if the merchant leader just lets it slide. Ga Yun-suk, the merchant leader, insults the sect for being a bunch of country bumpkins. The sect leader takes the verbal abuse without a fight. A brutal battlefield of carnage leaves heroes and villains alike impaled in a sea of blood. Total annihilation marks the end of this savage slaughter. Trapped in a nightmare of carnage, she stares in hollow despair at the lifeless bodies surrounding her. The bloodshed has only just begun. A second chance at life. Left in a pool of his own blood. Our hero has finally reached his breaking point. Is this truly the end of the line? He's had enough of the groveling. It's time to change the script. He's ready to make his move. It's officially time to cause a proper shitstorm. The merchant leader sneers, thinking he's won the argument. He agrees to let it go, but only this once. A mysterious figure looms from above, casting a shadow of dread over the unsuspecting pair. The confrontation is imminent, and the tension is reaching its breaking point. Jin Se-won steps up, introducing himself with a smirk. The merchant leader recognizes the name. He calls him a little punk for hitting his precious son. Jin Se-won hits back. Who is he calling a kid? Total confusion hits the scene as both characters are left completely baffled. Nothing makes sense in this hilariously awkward standoff. Jin Se-won laughs off the conflict, wondering if the merchant expects his son to survive the Murim Academy with that attitude. The merchant leader blows a fuse, claiming his son doesn't need to train at a third-rate place like theirs. Jin Se-won brings up the 10 disciples who were beaten into the hospital by the merchant's son. He dares to tell the merchant that his son's skills are actually pathetic. The merchant is speechless, trembling with pure, unadulterated rage. He tries to intimidate Jin with the threat of cutting off the money. Jin Se-won isn't scared of being broke anymore. The merchant brags about his ability to negotiate with other, better sects. He threatens that the Taeyul sect will starve without their cash. They are one of the 108 peaks, after all. It's the top 108, though the Taeyul sect barely holds onto that title. The merchant continues to look down on them. He mentions the special admission privilege for the Murim Academy. The merchant's son paid a fortune to get that spot through their sect. But Jin Se-won isn't done talking. He tells him to keep going. He's ready to take responsibility, but he has a burning question. There's less than a year left until the special admission evaluation. He mocks the merchant leader, questioning why he would waste his son's potential by sending him to such a pathetic sect as the Taeyul 108 Peaks. The merchant leader snaps back, calling him a disrespectful little punk. His face turns beet red as he screams in outrage, demanding to know if the boy has any idea who he's dealing with. He loses his cool entirely, reminding the sect members that the Murim Alliance has abandoned them and that his merchant group is their only lifeline. He closes the distance in a flash, looming over his target with chilling precision. The intimidation is palpable as he leaves his opponent breathless and cornered. The tables turn as a calm, cold voice reminds him that the Taeyul sect is the only one actually capable of saving the Gairyong merchant group. Pure, unadulterated shock widens his eyes as reality shatters before him. He's witnessing something truly unbelievable. The silence is shattered as a mysterious figure steps into the frame. A fateful encounter begins. The air turns freezing as he trembles in pure, unadulterated rage. He's pushed to the absolute edge of his sanity. He bellows in pure fury, calling the boy an impudent brat. Someone needs to give this guy a sedative. He reflects on the harsh lessons he learned from his past life. Dying once really puts things into perspective. He hasn't even had the time to process his own resurrection. Priorities, man, priorities. A breathtaking new dawn breaks over the horizon, signaling the start of a legendary journey. The golden light pierces the darkness, promising an epic turn of events. A chilling, unnatural web pulses within the cavern's depths. Something ancient and deadly is waiting in the dark. His singular, unshakable goal is clear. He must become stronger, no matter the cost. Relying on the garbage tier Taeyul mental methods and basic sword techniques is a dead end. He needs a shortcut to power. The answer lies in spiritual elixirs. He sets his sights on the legendary 10,000-year fire ginseng. Thanks to his photographic memory of the Murim Alliance's classified elixir records, he knows exactly where to find every hidden treasure in the Jianghu. He formulates his master plan. He's going to hunt them all down one by one, though the thought of dealing with the disgusting gatekeeper makes his skin crawl. The hunt begins. The fire ginseng is his first target on the road to godhood. He prepares to use his sect's humble small heaven sword technique to subdue the beast in a single surgical strike. He acknowledges his current weakness but knows that with his cheat sheet knowledge, he can outmaneuver the likes of Gai Qiuliang easily. The plan is set in motion. After committing hundreds of thousands of volumes to memory, his perspective has shifted. He's reached a startling realization about the nature of power. He realizes that fancy swordplay isn't the only way to climb the ladder of strength. The martial path and traditional honor? He couldn't care less about those old-fashioned ideals. The countdown to his dominance begins. Only one thing truly matters in this world: winning at any cost. He offers a mocking thank you to his enemies for the resources he's about to steal. He curses the Murim Alliance, ready to take back what he needs. He recalls the terrifying details of the human-faced spider that guards the fire ginseng, a creature that turns men into dried husks. He analyzes the creature's weaknesses, noting its impenetrable exoskeleton and the extreme flammability of its webs. It's time for a barbecue. A lethal blade pierces the monstrosity in a spray of gore. The beast is silenced with one swift, brutal strike. A sudden, crushing wave of energy surges forward. The atmosphere shatters as an overwhelming force is unleashed. The hero stands frozen in the face of a grotesque, towering nightmare. A chilling wave of dread washes over him as the monstrous entity looms ahead. He grunts in pain as the battle takes its toll. It's not enough. He needs more power to survive the coming storm. He's frustrated. Even after consuming the precious elixir, his internal energy barely nudged. He curses the Taeyul cultivation method as total trash, though he wonders if the problem is actually his own lackluster dantian. A sudden, heavy impact slams him into the ground. The silence says it all. They've been completely overwhelmed. He knows that at this rate, he won't be able to protect his sect. The future is looming, and he knows exactly what kind of disasters are headed their way. In the upcoming Orthodox demonic Great War, he knows his sect is just destined to be cannon fodder. A brutal splash of crimson masks her face in a moment of pure, visceral terror. The slaughter has only just begun. He vows to change fate, aiming to become a key figure in the Murim Alliance before the war breaks out. It's the only way to ensure the survival of his people. His first step was entering the Murim Academy, but time is running out. He's stressing out. If he fails to get in, he's as good as dead. If he doesn't change his trajectory, nothing will ever improve. The rhythmic drip of icy water echoes through the suffocating darkness. Silence is broken, and the tension begins to rise. He needs a boost, and he needs it yesterday. He's hunting for the next big spiritual elixir. Pure terror flashes across his eyes as he realizes he's in way over his head. The unthinkable has just happened, and there's no turning back now. His memory jogs. He knows exactly when the next opportunity arises. He recalls how Gai Qiuliang's father bought a legendary snow plum pill for his bratty son. But in history, that pill vanished the day before it was supposed to be consumed. The thief was never caught, and since the event hasn't happened yet, he realizes he can just steal it for himself. The world shatters around him, but his gaze remains cold as steel. He stands amidst the destruction, ready to unleash hell. A chilling darkness descends as the protagonist looms over the silent, looming structures. The stage is set for a monumental confrontation. A terrifying crimson strike tears through the city skyline. Destruction carves its mark across the urban jungle. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. He pores over the Alliance's logs and reports, searching for his golden opportunity. He sifts through a mountain of boring paperwork, hunting for the specific data he needs. He uses his deductive reasoning to connect the dots and locate the pill. He identifies the key targets in his path. The 5 swords of Gushin are nothing more than obstacles to him now. The ancient scroll is finally in his grasp. With a firm grip, he secures the power that will change everything. He laughs at how useful it is to be a walking encyclopedia of forbidden knowledge. He's going to help himself to the snow plum pill, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop him. A surge of raw, mystical power erupts as the artifact awakens. The air crackles with energy as a forbidden relic finally reveals its true potential. He stops in his tracks, confused. Why is his blue dragon bracelet glowing all of a sudden? He looks on in pure, unadulterated shock. What is happening to his gear? The warrior descends in a lethal blur of shadow, carving through the monster with a single, devastating strike. Darkness erupts as he obliterates his prey in one swift motion. Shadowy claws lunge with lethal intent, desperate to claim the pulsing core of raw power. The battlefield erupts as darkness converges on its prize. The conflict reaches a boiling point. He realizes the bracelet is actively consuming the spider's core. The earth splits wide as a blinding, mysterious light erupts from the depths. Nature itself recoils in terror from the encroaching power. Surrounded by lethal shadows, he unleashes a terrifying burst of crimson energy. The onslaught begins, and there's no turning back now. A menacing aura erupts as he unleashes his hidden power. The pressure is rising, and there's no turning back now. Everything is coming together perfectly. He can't help but laugh at the absolute insanity of his current situation. He remembers the history of the bracelet, a relic of a demonic king, now serving a much different master. It's a twist of fate that this relic would activate right when he needed it most. A massive, bone-crushing fist rockets forward with lethal intent. There's no escaping this devastating blow. A single, earth-shattering strike erupts with overwhelming power. The battlefield trembles as he unleashes a devastating blast of pure force. The bracelet detoxifies the spider's wicked core, creating a pure energy that aligns perfectly with his own cultivation method. The results are immediate and staggering. Where there's a will, there's a way, and he's definitely going to find a way to the top. He scoffs at the merchant leader dumping money into his son, thinking gold can fix a lack of talent. Poor kid has no idea what's coming. He ponders the value of the snow plum pill. It's second only to the rarest treasures in Manhwa. It's the kind of item that would make any sect disciple drool with envy. He's distracted, wondering where that idiot guy is, while the daughter of the Taeyul leader watches him closely. He remembers that day vividly. He laments that he should have been the one to step up, not his senior brother. He has a sect to protect, after all. The aftermath of that day caused his senior brother to leave, an act of consideration that he thinks is just plain stupid. He calls his senior brother an idiot for walking away. He tries to play it cool, though the tension is palpable. Someone calls out to him, demanding he show some respect. He's addressed as senior sister, creating an awkward moment. The disciples are busy stuffing their faces while the tension in the air is thick enough to choke on. The outsiders watch the Taeyul sect members with pure, unadulterated contempt. He notices their hunger, knowing they've barely had a decent meal in days. He catches the look in her eyes. She's obviously thinking about him again. The others tease her for her silence, knowing exactly who occupies her thoughts. They talk about saving food for him, showing a level of loyalty that is honestly kind of adorable. A chilling, knowing smirk spreads across her face. The silence says it all. Things are about to get dangerous. The group continues their rowdy antics, completely oblivious to the impending doom. She threatens to eat all the food herself just to get a reaction out of the others. Chaos ensues at the dinner table. He's genuinely annoyed that he's been left behind to deal with these kids. He sighs at his own reputation, wondering why everyone keeps calling him a dummy. Under the glow of a brilliant full moon, the night comes alive with shimmering lanterns. A quiet, mysterious air settles over the rooftops. The night is young, and the game is afoot. The tension breaks as these two share a spirited toast and a rowdy laugh. It's a rare moment of pure, boisterous brotherhood amidst the chaos. The stage ignites as the dancer takes flight, captivating the entire court with her breathtaking performance. Amidst a whirlwind of silk and falling petals, all eyes are locked on her mesmerizing display. With lightning-fast precision, a mysterious figure dashes across the rooftops. No one can catch this blur in motion. With eyes burning in pure focus, he launches into a lightning-fast strike. The air itself shrieks as he tears through the night. With a lightning-fast strike, he deflects the incoming blast mid-air. The clash of energy echoes as he effortlessly repels the lethal attack. He lets out a manic, triumphant cackle. He mocks the famous elixirs of Manhwa, proving that even the most secure warehouses are nothing compared to his cunning. The box clicks open to reveal a pulsating artifact shrouded in ominous energy. What kind of forbidden power lies dormant within this mysterious sphere? Everything is going exactly according to plan. He anticipates that eating this will give him enough juice to finally master the divine palm technique. He needs to make a clean getaway before the alarm is raised. With a single lightning-fast strike, the warrior is decapitated mid-air. The battle ends in a brutal display of pure lethality. He offers a polite, sarcastic apology to his victim. He really needs this, and frankly, he's not sorry at all. He repeats his justification, mostly to convince himself he's not the bad guy. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and he's the top predator. He looks back on the days leading up to the great theft. A lethal arsenal of bear traps lies in wait, ready to snap shut on any unsuspecting victim. The stage is set for a gruesome encounter. The wall of deadly red bows hangs in eerie silence, waiting for a master's touch. Tension fills the room as the weapons are revealed. The silence of the shop is shattered as the door creaks open. A mysterious figure waits, oblivious to the intruder about to change everything. With a sharp, lightning-fast pivot, he locks onto his target. The hunt is officially on. He approaches the shopkeeper, pretending to be a regular customer with a very strange request. He asks if they sell traps specifically designed for human prey. The shopkeeper is intrigued. He's never had a customer quite like this before. The shop boasts the best hunting gear in Hefei, but they draw the line at trapping people. He insists on getting the strongest gear for hunting, ignoring the shopkeeper's confusion. He couldn't care less about the pelts. He's looking for something much more permanent. He needs something sensitive enough to trigger on a hair and strong enough to shatter bones. He wants a trap that serves as an express ticket to the afterlife. The shopkeeper has 27 years of experience, and his gut is telling him to kick this guy out immediately. The silence is deafening as he stands tall over his fallen foe. A chilling display of dominance marks the end of the battle. He's honestly surprised at how easy it was to take down someone with such a famous reputation. He brushes off the effort, barely breaking a sweat. He mocks the opposition, noting that his reputation clearly exceeded his actual skill. He and his allies laugh as they realize they were worried about nothing. These experts were just paper tigers. The conspirators plot to dispose of the body, ensuring the soul-chasing guest is reported as nothing more than missing. But first, they can't resist a peek at the legendary snow plum pill. A sudden cry of surprise breaks their focus. The vibrant color and the unmistakable scent of plum blossoms confirm it. The treasure is finally in their hands. Too bad there's only one pill and two hungry mouths to feed. Total shock hits the group as their jaws drop in pure disbelief. Whatever they just heard has left them absolutely speechless. A shout rings out, followed by a sudden, jarring thud. Panic sets in as they realize their stalker has closed the distance with terrifying speed. The order is given to strike down the thief, and the junior brother is more than happy to oblige. He delivers a cold ultimatum, warning the stranger that coveting treasures beyond his station comes with a steep price. The stranger scoffs at the hypocrisy, calling them out for their shameless theft and questioning if Mount Songshan teaches such rotten behavior. Accusations fly as the two groups trade barbs over who actually stole the prize first. The beastly warrior lunges with a lethal, sky-splitting strike. His unsuspecting target barely has a split second to dodge the incoming carnage. A razor-sharp slash tears through the earth, narrowly missing our hero in a blur of lethal speed. He doesn't even blink as the ground erupts in a shower of debris. The hero offers a chilling warning. He suggests they watch their step, or things might get messy. With a lightning-fast strike, he carves through the beast's defenses. The monster doesn't stand a chance against such overwhelming power. Pure shock etches across his face as blood splatters the air. The tides of battle have turned in an instant. A gasp escapes his lips as the reality of the situation sinks in. Cold sweat pours as pure terror takes hold. He's pushed to the absolute brink. A lethal strike slices through the moonlight. The air itself shatters as a hidden blade carves a path of destruction. The senior brother cries out in alarm, regretting that he didn't listen to his own advice about watching his step. The hero mocks the attacker's cowardice, pointing out that a true warrior shouldn't need such pathetic, hidden tricks. He demands the masked coward stop hiding and reveal his true face immediately. The stranger pauses, tilting his head with a mocking smirk. He wonders aloud if they really want to know which sect he hails from or who his master is. He scoffs at their old-fashioned demands for identification. A ferocious, serrated claw tears through the air with lethal intent. The master is caught completely off guard by this brutal, lightning-fast ambush. The attacker looks on, clearly pleased with his own handiwork. The hero claims the title of the new owner of the Snow Plum Pill, mockingly suggesting the two brothers should be locked away as the murderers of the Soul Chaser. He taunts them, asking if they're curious how he figured out their little secret. He reveals he scoured the records, noting the strange disappearance of the Soul Chaser right when the pill went missing. He explains how he tracked down every martial artist who suddenly gained internal energy, connecting the dots that others ignored. It didn't take long to find their trail. It was obvious they had murdered the Soul Chaser to hide their tracks. He deduced they had split the pill to share the power, even if it wasn't enough to alert the public at large. Realization dawns on the brothers. They realize they've been outsmarted. Their identities are laid bare. Gu Il-mu and Zhang Hanji. The hero confirms he knows exactly who they are, members of the prestigious Mount Songshan's Five Swords. They try to play the "Do you know who we are?" card, desperately invoking the name of their powerful sect. The hero laughs in their faces, finding it hilarious that robbers are trying to report other robbers for robbing. The brothers grow desperate, claiming his tricks are just cheap distractions. He asks them plainly if they actually thought such weak tactics would stop him. A deadly hail of jagged saws descends, forcing our hero into a desperate, high-stakes dance for survival. He weaves through the chaotic barrage, refusing to let a single blade touch him. With a sadistic grin, he unleashes a whirlwind of razor-sharp bear traps to shred his opponent. Nowhere is safe from this deadly, metallic rain. The brothers howl in frustration as they realize they're caught in a trap-filled nightmare. He promises to rip the mask off and tear them apart, while the senior brother desperately cheers for his junior. The shadows swallow him whole as he prepares to unleash hell. Silence has never been this terrifying. The brothers panic, shouting at the fleeing figure to stop. The senior brother yells to chase him, but the junior warns him to be careful. The ground ahead is clearly rigged. The senior brother remains arrogant, insisting they just need to follow the hero's exact footprints to stay safe. The junior brother marvels at his senior's supposed brilliance. The blades flash as the warriors dash across the leaves in a high-speed pursuit. The hunt is on, and there's nowhere left to hide. Lightning-fast footsteps shatter the silence of the night. Our hero is on the move, closing the distance in a blur of motion. He mocks their flimsy efforts, calling their pursuit an exercise in futility. With a thunderous kick off the terrain, he launches himself into the fray. The battlefield trembles as he defies gravity to strike. He vanishes in a blur of speed, leaving his enemies scrambling in his wake. The hunt is on, and there's no escaping his lethal pace. He laughs maniacally, asking if they finally understand that their lives are about to end. The hunter descends from the sky, closing in on his prey with lethal precision. Nowhere left to run. Pure, unadulterated shock flashes across his face as the situation spirals out of control. The world freezes in that single, terrifying moment of realization. The ground shatters under the sheer force of his landing, a silent arrival that signals the start of a brutal confrontation. The shadows consume him, dragging our hero into the crushing depths of despair. There's no escaping this suffocating darkness. A brutal steel trap snaps shut, catching the unsuspecting warrior midair. His lightning-fast strike is thwarted by a lethal, hidden ambush. Agony tears through them as they realize they've walked right into the trap. He mocks their intelligence, admitting he's actually surprised they managed to follow his steps this far. He points out that while they tried to follow him, they failed to understand the true nature of his trap. It wasn't enough to just step where he stepped. They needed to be absolutely perfect. A single millimeter of error was all it took to trigger the mechanism. Talk about a harsh lesson. The brother screams in frustration, baffled by how anyone could navigate such a dense field of traps. He demands to know how the hero could possibly move through them with such perfect accuracy. The hero smiles, ready to reveal his secret. He explains it's all thanks to the one gift the heavens bestowed upon him, a memory that never fails. A vicious, blood-soaked strike tears through the night air. The silence is shattered by the brutal sound of carnage. The conversation shifts to the Taeyul sect of Hefei. A thoughtful pause hangs in the air. The strategist ponders if they are one of the 108 peaks, while Zhuge Somayang listens intently. He confirms the status of Elder Namgung Taewon and questions the rise of powerful new sects in the region. It's time for a change, he suggests, out with the old, in with the new. He brings up the Cheol Geometry sect, confirming that the rumors circulating within the alliance hold weight. The tea is served, the flavor perfectly suited to the strategist, as they discuss the backing of the Cheol Geometry sect. He reminds everyone that the 108 peaks aren't replaced without a grave reason. He asks if the Taeyul sect has finally crossed a line. Reports suggest they've been abusing their position for business dealings. The question is posed: are they really using their sacred privileges for personal gain? The greed is palpable. It seems they've forgotten their purpose. The martial genius is back, and he remembers everything. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The Taeyul sect is clearly abusing their status. They've traded their honor for selfish, material gain. A lone bird watches from the shadows, spying on the secrets hidden within the grand estate. The silence of the morning is shattered by its piercing cry. A tense silence fills the room as a mysterious stranger offers a steaming cup of tea. What dark scheme is hiding behind that sinister smirk? He claims he's not trying to push anyone out of the 108 peaks, but his actions say otherwise. He lets the weight of his statements sink in. He reminds them that the 108 peaks were meant to honor those who fought in the darkest of times. It pains him to see those noble traditions fading away. As a member of the Alliance, it's his duty to protect the integrity of the Order. Under the cold light of the stars, a lone soul drowns their heavy burdens in a quiet night of solitude. Silence reigns, but the weight of their thoughts is screaming. Surrounded by a surge of overwhelming blue energy, he pushes his limits to the breaking point. The pressure is mounting, but he refuses to back down. Raw power erupts as he pushes his cultivation to the absolute limit. The air crackles with intensity as he ascends to a whole new level of strength. The energy surges, peaking at a critical threshold. Cold sweat drips as his eyes lock onto a terrifying, soul-crushing reality. The tension reaches a breaking point. The aura explodes as he pushes his limits to the breaking point. Pure, raw power radiates from his body in a storm of energy. The snow plum pill has done its job. He's finally surpassed his former life's strength. He has officially shattered the ceiling of his previous existence. A satisfied smirk crosses his face. A knock at the door interrupts his reverie. The attendant is relieved. The young master has finally emerged after days of seclusion. He ignores the curiosity, demanding food immediately. The attendant complains about the late hour, but money talks. A handsome reward and a week's board in advance seal the deal. The attendant runs off to wake the chef. Apparently, there's nothing that cash can't fix. He's grateful for the blue dragon bracelet. It's been quite the reliable wallet. The spectral tiger erupts in a savage roar. Pure, unstoppable predator energy shatters the air. The bracelet is far more versatile than just hunting beasts. A surge of raw, crackling energy erupts as the mysterious ring activates. The power is unleashed, and there's no turning back now. It can drain the very life force from any living thing to bolster his own chi. He jokes about selling tiger skins to cover his tracks. Making money is easy, but the method is risky. If people find out, they'll definitely mistake him for a member of the demonic cult. It's a dangerous game he's playing. The heaven-devouring art is a forbidden technique, and his bracelet looks far too similar for comfort. He knows he has to stay hidden at all costs. The food arrives, and the attendant is all smiles. It looks divine, and he's ready to dig in. He wonders why the attendant is still lingering around. The attendant drops a juicy rumor about the Gyeryong merchant group. They held a banquet, but someone walked away with more than just a free meal. A spiritual elixir was stolen right out from under their noses. The thief must be a pro to pull that off without a trace. The Alliance is already on the hunt. They're scouring the land for the culprit. The hero tries to play it cool while his heart sinks. He asks if they found anything, trying to gauge the danger. He needs to know if he's actually in the clear. Panic. He's the thief, and he's worried they might have caught some poor, innocent soul in his place. The attendant confirms the trail went cold. They found nothing. The owner must be absolutely crushed. The banquet was cut short, but there's another one coming up in Hefei. It's being held at the Iron Sword sect. A 7-day, 7-night party for the sect leader's 60th birthday. The attendant is looking forward to the tips. He remembers the timing all too well. The hero collapses in a pool of blood, his spirit shattered. Despair consumes him as he hits rock bottom. He recalls the humiliation of kneeling before a crowd. Apologizing to the sect leader was the lowest point of his life. Ambushed and overwhelmed, he's cornered by sheer terror. The trap has snapped shut, and there's nowhere left to run. It was all because of one person. The hero lies broken in the dust while his enemies close in for the final strike. A crimson wave of pure slaughter fills the air as the endgame begins. Jin Sewon, the sect leader's son, was the architect of his misery. A dark look passes over his face. This time, things will be different. A heavy silence hangs in the air as he sits lost in deep, dangerous contemplation. The calm before the storm has arrived. He thanks the attendant for the meal, his mind already miles away. The attendant bows and leaves the young master to his thoughts. With a burst of explosive speed, the warrior lunges into the fray. There's no turning back now. The battle begins. The hulking warrior descends with a bone-crushing strike. His opponent barely scrambles to dodge the lethal blow. A devastating strike tears through the air with unstoppable force, obliterating everything in its path. The focus shifts to the grandson of the Iron Sword sect leader. The Tai sect is in the spotlight. A disciple whines, complaining that his legs are absolutely killing him. The Jiamundong brothers, Li Dongryong, Li Yunho, and Li Jumpio, are stuck in the middle of a brutal training session. Doing 100 downward strikes in this weather? One of them scoffs at the absurdity of it, clearly doubting if this training helps the lesser heaven sword technique at all. The others mock him, asking where his desire to be cool like senior brother Gene went. He denies ever saying Gene was cool, claiming he was just proud of his fellow disciple for beating up senior guy. A fellow disciple points out that being proud is basically the same as admitting he's cool. They wonder what senior brother Gene is actually up to right now. It's the first time he's been gone for over a week without leaving a word. They speculate he might be feeling awkward about the fight with senior guy and is avoiding his return on purpose. Panic sets in. Did he leave the sect entirely because he feared retaliation from the Gyeryong merchant group? Someone notes that while Jean was annoying, he was a decent guy. Someone else asks why they're talking about him like he's already dead. Suddenly, Jean appears. Zip. Jean reflects on his resolve. He won't let his father be mocked or forced to apologize to the Iron Sword sect ever again. The humiliation his sect has suffered stops here. He keeps it simple. He is not going to the Iron Sword sect. He decides that the entire Tai sect must boycott the Iron Sword sect leader's 60th birthday banquet. He realizes he needs a solid excuse to pull this off, right as his fellow disciples spot him. The brothers swarm him, asking where he's been. Jean plays it cool, asking if they missed him so much they had to come greet him. The other juniors crowd around, begging him to teach them the move he used to crush senior guy. Jean asks if they've been behaving and listening to the hall leaders. They nod eagerly. Jean Sewon gets a warm welcome back, though he's clearly the center of attention. His father, Jean Tae-san, storms out, demanding to know where he's been wandering off to. Jean is caught off guard by his father's sudden appearance. He's shocked by his father's emotional reaction. It's like a long-lost family reunion. He thinks to himself that a second life is truly a beautiful thing. A brutal, earth-shattering blow connects squarely with his skull. The impact sends him reeling in pure, unadulterated shock. His father rages, accusing him of creating a mess with the Gyeryong merchant group that almost left the entire sect homeless. It looks like his head was already cracked before his dad even touched him. Senior brother Guy makes his grand, angry entrance. Guy challenges Jean to a proper duel, accusing him of using cheap tricks last time. Silence falls. Jean plays dumb, acting blinded by Guy's aura, to mock him. He continues the sarcasm, praising the effects of the snow plum pill and pretending he couldn't possibly win against someone as strong as Guy. Guy is fuming. Someone points out how weird Jean has been acting, especially since the snow plum pill was stolen. Sorian notes that Jean has always been strange, while Jean ignores them and offers sweets to the younger kids. The kids are overjoyed to get snacks, but Jean warns them not to hog it all. A senior berates him for wasting money on snacks instead of rice, wondering where he even got the funds. His father tells him not to leave again, clearly worried sick. What a dummy. He was thinking about the sect even while he was away. Jean explains that the Gyeryong merchant group is too busy with the stolen pill and the upcoming banquet to bother the Tai sect. He promises not to disappear again. Junior sister speaks up. Jean notes she's being unusually nice, so he doesn't bother correcting her assumption that he's been carrying the world on his shoulders. He asks if only the merchant group is attending the banquet. He's shocked to hear the Tai sect is expected to go too. It's already decided. The sect leader felt it would be rude to refuse without a good reason. Jean curses his luck. He needs a new plan. A sudden, chilling presence stops them dead in their tracks. Tension spikes as they turn to face the unexpected threat. His father decides he will go to the Iron Sword sect alone, telling the others to stay behind. Everyone is stunned by the sudden change in plans. Jean offers his father some rice cakes. His father is confused. Are these from the merchant group's banquet? Jean admits he saved them just to eat with his father, though he jokes he should probably throw them away now that he's brought so many sweets. His father is touched that he saved them. Jean laughs, noting he would have eaten them if he'd stayed away one more day. His father is left speechless. Jean digs in, shocking everyone. He gobbles them up, much to the annoyance of the others who wanted a bite. Jean offers his share of the sweets to Dongryong in apology. The juniors bicker over the snacks, wondering why they didn't just eat them sooner. Jean realizes skipping one banquet won't solve the long-term problem. The Iron Sword sect will just keep inviting them back to mock them. He realizes he can't let that cycle continue. He won't let his sect endure endless insults anymore. He resolves that they will go to the Iron Sword sect, but on his terms. The day of the 60th birthday banquet arrives, and the Tai sect begins their procession. Jin Sewon leads the way. A warning is issued, they must follow one specific rule once they arrive. Hall leader Kang Chae-suk demands they do not act rashly under any circumstances. Jin quips that it's obvious the hall leader is only tagging along to keep an eye on him. The hall leader snaps back, telling him to stop acting out of line. Jin says he'd love to hold back, but people keep provoking him. The hall leader tells him to stop acting like a hormonal teenager. Jin retorts that his father never cared if he came home before, so why the sudden interest? The hall leader is uncharacteristically quiet, leaving Jin to wonder if he's imagining things. The hall leader brings up changing Jin's diapers as a baby, demanding some respect. Jin is appalled they're bringing up his diaper days. They arrive and politely ask to pass, claiming someone is saving their spot ahead. The crowd is outraged at the audacity of cutting in line. They question who these people think they are to be so shameless. Jin steps forward to explain their situation calmly. He introduces himself as Gu Yongsa of the Cheongjuk fortress. The crowd immediately buckles, recognizing the prestige of the name, and Jin tells them to just yield. The gatekeepers apologize profusely, letting them pass immediately. The Cheongjuk fortress name carries weight. Jin thinks to himself that this Gu Yongsa character is a complete scumbag who eventually teams up with Gai Cheol-young. Perfect trash attracts perfect trash. He remembers the connection between the two villains. The masters stand tall, casting an imposing shadow over the trembling disciples who cower in submission. The merchant leader freezes, and the arrogant onlookers mock the Tai sect's pathetic appearance. They openly question how the Tai sect even managed to get into the 108 peaks. The crowd wonders if their spot will be stolen by the Iron Sword sect. They start stuttering, trying to remember the name of Jin's fortress. Confusion spreads. They realize they have no idea who these people are. One of them jokes that they must have heard the name in an outhouse. The arrogant disciples think they've got him cornered, but the tables are about to turn. Jin prepares to make his move. The group is insulted, but they have no idea what's coming. A voice rings out, asking what all the commotion is about. Silence descends on the courtyard. It's the beautiful wolf Iron Sword, Song Moran. Everyone is stunned by her beauty. She asks if they came to the banquet hoping to see a fight. She makes her presence known to the crowd. The Iron Sword sect has only been around for 150 years, but they've made a name for themselves. They set their sights on seizing the Tai sect's status, believing there can't be two suns in the same sky. They were never satisfied with simple expansion. They wanted total dominance. Jin recalls his previous life, where the Tai sect attended this same banquet. Back then, an argument with Song Emohyun led to a sparring match that Jin lost, just as he knew he would. His father humiliated himself by kneeling and apologizing to the Iron Sword sect leader in front of everyone. Jin knows it won't be different this time unless he changes the script. Song Moran repeats her question about the commotion. She asks if they are all here to witness bloodshed. The crowd is terrified to be caught in the middle of a conflict. Jin calls them out, stating there are no rules about reserving spots and they should just head to the back. Moran introduces herself and apologizes for the behavior of her sect's guards. She offers to escort the Tai sect and the merchant group inside as a form of compensation. Jin watches her, calculating her next move. An imposing group of martial artists storms the courtyard with cold, lethal intent. Jin flirts with the situation, mocking the rumors about Moran's beauty. She remains professional, urging them to follow her to the young sect leader. Jin wonders why she's being so helpful. Did his regression change her? Or is there a hidden motive? They arrive at the hall. It's significantly larger than he remembers. He knows there's no such thing as goodwill without a hidden agenda. He keeps a sharp eye on his surroundings. They step inside the grand banquet hall. Jin sees his target, the Iron Sword sect leader. Next to him sits the young sect leader, Song Ju-tak. The merchant group leader exchanges pleasantries with them. The Iron Sword sect leaders act overly friendly, trying to mask their true intentions. Jin prepares for the inevitable confrontation. The sect leader mocks the Tai sect, feigning jealousy while insulting their status. He introduces the Tai sect members with a dismissive tone. He stares them down. Kong Chai-suk introduces himself, but the sect leader barely acknowledges him. He brings up an incident from 20 years ago to stir the pot. Jean wonders what exactly happened back then. The sect leader mocks the Tai sect leaders and asks who the other one is. He insults Jean, claiming his comprehension is underwhelming and questioning if these are really their best prospects. He tells them to stop wasting their energy and just focus on the merchant group. He makes a backhanded comment about teaching the Tai sects pitiful martial arts. He calls them third-rate martial artists. He treats them like common thugs. Every word out of his mouth is pure poison. Jean finally snaps, asking what the hell he is babbling about. He sarcastically apologizes, saying he meant to keep the insults in his head. Jean systematically tears down the sect leader's rudeness, pointing out his insults to the Tai sect and their ancestors. Jean plays the game, offering a fake, polite apology while pointing out the sect leader's arrogance. The crowd is shocked that a young kid would have the guts to talk back to the Iron Sword sect leader. The tension snaps as he fixates on his target with lethal, cold intent. The sect leader is fuming, unable to believe he's being challenged. Jean asks, with a chilling smile, if he isn't going to accept his apology. The ceramic cup shatters under the weight of the sect leader's suppressed rage. The war has officially begun. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The sect leader loses his cool, barking insults at the brat who dared to defy him. A sudden commotion erupts as the arrival of the Murim Alliance's chief strategist is announced. Panic ensues as the sect leader is urged to drop everything and pay his proper respects to the high-ranking guest. Everyone scrambles to get a look at the VIP, desperate to be the first to suck up to the chief strategist. Cheol-young and his father scramble to keep pace, their dignity left somewhere back at the entrance. The order is given to bring out the gifts, because nothing says, "I respect you," like a well-timed bribe. A sharp, arrogant huff echoes through the hall. Someone suggests ditching the crowd to snag a decent seat, proving that even in the martial arts world, the fight for a good table is real. Jin So-won is hit with a verbal barrage, his rebellious attitude clearly getting under people's skin. The lecture continues, with the senior berating So-won for his sharp tongue and lack of proper manners. The senior points out the obvious. If he hadn't stepped in, swords would have been drawn by now. It's clear the competition was just waiting for an excuse to start a fight. Being a hero is exhausting, isn't it? The warning is clear. Stop acting like a hothead and try to act like a gentleman for once. A dark shadow hangs over the past. What really happened 20 years ago to leave such a sour look on his face? The truth remains locked behind a guarded silence. A warrior is pushed to his absolute limit, trembling under the weight of a crushing blow. Pure agony etches across his face as he struggles to stay standing. A sudden, polite offer to guide them to a better seat cuts through the tension. The group is quick to accept the olive branch, eager to escape the embarrassment of their current spot. They are led to a luxurious VIP area, complete with a stunning view of a tranquil pond. The food is so fancy, they can barely believe their eyes. Talk about an upgrade. Suspicion rises. Why is the Iron Sword sect being so generous? So-won wants to know why they aren't busy sucking up to the chief strategist instead. The girl explains the sect's rigid rules. Women aren't expected to handle the important stuff anyway. How convenient. The Iron Sword sect's lineage is revealed, centered around the leader's two children. Song Emo-hyen, the Blood Wolf, stands as the heir to the sect's power. Song Moran, the Beautiful Wolf, carries a reputation that precedes her. Emo-hyen has been groomed as the golden child, consuming every resource the sect could offer. Then there is the Beautiful Wolf, Song Moran. Despite a late start, she is a certified genius, destined for the prestigious Murim Academy. Rumor has it her bite is far deadlier than her brother's. She turns her charm on So-won, clearly amused by the boy who knows so much about her. So-won plays it cool, brushing off her interest while trying to keep his guard up. She dismisses the past conflicts with a coy laugh, playing the part of the innocent bystander perfectly. Sewon decides to stop dancing around the subject and get straight to the point. He demands to know the true intent behind the Taesek's invitation. The scene shifts as the political maneuvering deepens. She offers a deflective answer, suggesting the banquet is just for celebration. But history tells a different story. Banquets are notorious settings for backstabbing and assassinations. A chilling silence fills the air as those piercing eyes lock onto their target. Something dangerous is about to unfold. She plays the flirtatious card, claiming she'd love to chat more but has to run. With a graceful exit, she leaves the tension hanging in the air. The silence is shattered by the sharp, rhythmic click of approaching footsteps. Tension skyrockets as a mysterious figure looms over the unsuspecting duo. A sharp interruption, and the polite facade begins to crack. The newcomer lays on the flattery, focusing entirely on Moran's beauty. An open invitation to join a different group. The networking never ends in this place. Multiple voices clash, all fighting for the attention of the young lady. The crowd continues to swarm, desperate for a moment of her time. Panic sets in among the staff. The young lady has vanished, and the young master is looking for her. Away from the crowd, she finally catches her breath, unimpressed by the warriors surrounding her. She reflects on the oddity that was Jin Sewon, noting his lack of fear despite his low internal power. Is he truly courageous or just completely out of his mind? A realization hits her as she spots familiar faces in the distance. She catches sight of the Tai sect members, wondering what they're plotting. She recalls talk of a private gathering for young disciples. Is that where they're headed? She wonders why Sewon isn't with them. The mystery only deepens. A chilling smirk spreads across her face as she plots something truly sinister. The trap is set, and there's no turning back now. A challenge rings out into the darkness. Confusion marks the faces of those interrupted. It's the young lady herself, appearing unexpectedly. The tension is palpable as they question her sudden presence. Once again, the demand for identity echoes. Surprise keeps them frozen in place. The question remains, why is she here so late? She claims she's just trying to be a good host and invites Sewon to join the inner circle. Sewon politely but firmly declines, citing exhaustion to keep his distance. She presses him, doubting that everyone is truly as tired as he claims. She knows he saw the others heading toward the party. Sewon knows the history. A provocation here leads to a public humiliation he can't afford to repeat. He's doing everything in his power to dodge this specific disaster. But he can't let his junior sister walk into a potential death trap alone. Everything grinds to a sudden halt. The tension spikes as they stop dead in their tracks. She feigns shock, acting as if the very idea of a trap is offensive. Sewon calls her out. Is she truly that naive, or just a master of deception? He wonders if she's actually in the dark about her own sect's dirty games. She admits they don't like the Tai sect, but draws the line at blatant traps. Sewon labels the situation for what it is, a game for street thugs. A sinister smirk spreads across his face as he prepares to unleash chaos. The game is officially rigged in his favor. Sewon makes a bold prediction. Mo Hyun is going to start trouble regardless of what they do. He knows exactly how the script is supposed to play out. She's offended, calling him a delusional lunatic. Sewon can only hope she's right, but his gut says otherwise. Silence descends upon the floating pavilion as secrets simmer in the night. The water ripples, hiding whatever truth lies behind those glowing walls. A voice rises above the crowd, questioning the logic of the current hierarchy. Why is the Tai sect still holding a peak when better sects are left out in the cold? The complaints fly, blaming the special admission system for everyone's misery. Someone mocks the silence of the accused. It's not that she's speechless, she's just trapped by the facts. The heckler is feeling emboldened, claiming everything he said is the absolute truth. The stage is set for a confrontation. It's time for the Tai sect to answer for their existence. The demand is made. Must the rotten elements be purged for the greater good? Panic hits the Tai members. They are cornered. They scramble for a coherent response. Under pressure, they accidentally agree to their own demise. Oops. The crowd recognizes the troublemaker from earlier, and the beautiful wolf appears. The flattery continues as people try to get on her good side. She brushes them off. She's only here for one specific person. Everyone is shocked to see Sewon standing with her. A senior brother tries to assert authority, but Sewon isn't having it. Sewon fires back. What kind of senior brother sits by while his own sect is dragged through the mud? The argument turns into a full-blown verbal brawl. Sewon explains he had to intervene, or his incompetent seniors would have started a war by noon. While the crowd is busy laughing at the Tai sect, real threats are looming. The heavy hitters are in the room, and they have their eyes on the prize. Namgung-san, the divine dragon, makes his presence known. He's not someone to mess with. Song Emohyun stands ready, embodying the pride of the Iron Sword sect. As the host, he looks ready to strike. Emohyun interrupts the chat, clearly annoyed that Sewon is stealing his thunder. He mocks Sewon, asking if he thinks he's important enough to speak for others. The silence hangs heavy as he locks his intense gaze on the target. Something big is about to go down. Sewon flatly confirms that yes, he is speaking for them. He delivers a lecture on water. Clear water needs a fresh flow to stay pure. But there's a catch to that metaphor. He points to the Cheongjuk fortress as a prime example of why things go wrong. Why haven't they made it to the 108 peaks? Because the current system is just a bootlicking contest. It all comes back to the blood affair 60 years ago. Brother turned on brother for the sake of power, a classic tragedy. He acknowledges their strength, but that's not the point. If he had to face the underworld, he wouldn't trust a group that eats its own. With a brutal thud, he slams his hand down to silence the room. There's no escaping his iron-fisted authority. He'd rather take his chances alone than with them. He points out that even the Alliance would be nervous about such allies. The room erupts in fury. They've been insulted to their faces. The Cheongjuk members are ready to kill for the perceived slight. Emohyun steps in, demanding to know what Sewon is doing. The lackey is caught off guard, stammering his excuses. Emohyun plays the victim, acting as if the guest insulted the host's house. He frames the insult as a direct attack on the Iron Sword sect itself. Moran tries to de-escalate, but her brother tells her to stay out of it. He insists Sewon is just a disruptor who ruined the party. Sewon tries to take the fall to save his sect from the fallout, apologizing for his rashness. He claims he's ruined the evening, as if the tension wasn't there already. He offers a formal apology, hoping to de-escalate. Total shock hits as she stares at the unthinkable. Her world just shattered in an instant. She apologizes as well, trying to play the part of the polite guest. They make a move to leave, hoping to end the confrontation there. They scramble toward the exit, relieved to get away. A sharp command stops them in their tracks. Emohyun isn't letting them off the hook that easily. Their honor is at stake. As the grandson of the sect leader, he has to uphold their reputation. A mere apology won't cut it tonight. He formally challenges Sewon to a spar. The trap is officially sprung. Shock and terror grip her face as the horrifying truth finally hits home. Everything she thought she knew just shattered in an instant. A manic laugh erupts. The fight he wanted is finally happening. A chilling, manic grin spreads across his face as the shadows begin to stir. The battle has reached a twisted new level of intensity. Sewon realizes he was right all along. The game was rigged from the start.